Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. What if learning the hardest language in the world could become a simple routine that made learning more fun, less pressure, and more effective? Well, in this video, I'm going to be giving you the information that you need to get from zero fluency to speaking Chinese with new friends and opening up yourself to a whole new world of entertainment, knowledge, and community. I'm not going to overload you with information. I'm going to give you the essential building blocks needed in any language. I'm also going to tell you how to avoid making the easy but huge time-wasting mistakes that most self-learning language learners make. And I'm going to give you free access to a fully laid out first month of learning Chinese. And if you stick around till the end, I'm also going to give you a recommended resources playbook. Hi, I'm Sonia. I love learning languages, connecting with this world and its beautiful people. And if you find this video useful, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, join us. I think you might like it here. Now let's check out the first section of this starter pack. Let me begin with a question. Have you ever wanted to be fluent in a language before? If yes, did you reach fluency in that language? If no, then don't worry, because that's an experience that happens to most self-study learners. And there are many reasons why. But what's apparent is that most people encounter the overload of information available without a solid foundation of how, why, and in what way this information should come together. It's more of a mishmash of this technique and that tip and this works but I don't quite know why, and a lot of that around. And we can't be having that around here. Let me first give you a foundation to work with. Here are some essential questions to answer. Go grab a notebook or a handy Google document and let's have a go at answering them. Question 1. Why are you learning this specific language? It's important to know this when motivation runs out. What are you going to call success? In your habits and in your milestones. It's important to know when to celebrate your wins, and it's also important to know when to check yourself when progress isn't happening. What routine, focus practices, and study methods are you going to do to achieve that? A routine builds study habits. A focus practice helps get rid of those start of study session jitters and doubts. And study methods help us get the information to learn in our heads. It's important to know the how, what, and why, because otherwise we miss out on a solid foundation. Like when Phineas and Ferb built a rocket to the moon and they forgot a foundational screw and the whole thing flew away. It's very important to have a good foundation. Now you know. You get it. Now, let's take a look at what the brain actually needs to acquire a language. In simple terms, the brain needs lots of input, opportunities to recall, emotional and real-world engagement, frequent exposure and repetition, and pattern recognition. Our first month approaching Chinese should be fun, flow state, and with the right amount of structure. Let's dive into how we can give the brain lots of input. The brain needs to hear and see language that it mostly understands but still finds a little bit challenging. And I don't mean throwing on a podcast that's way above your skill level and just hoping for the best. I've done that. Doesn't work. No, it's actually a lot more simple. This effectively means taking something that you understand and attaching something new to it. Teaching your mind to add that unfamiliar thing and then bind it to a meaningful concept to become a meaningful identifier. A great recommendation here is graded readers. I recommend this website and this website. I began with HSK1 stories. Take this one for example. And I followed a very simple process. First, I read through the whole story. I understood the meaning of it in English first. I started to attach the once meaningless pinyin to the English words. I then binded the Hanzi to the pinyin, pinyin, I don't know if I'm saying that right. And through this process, I taught my mind new identifiers for concepts that I already knew. Chi, which is like eat. I know what eating is, and now I'm associating that sound and that Hanzi with it. 今天, I know what today is, and I know now if I see the Hanzi for 今天, then I will know that means today. Another way to do comprehensible input is with comprehensible input YouTube channels for HSK1, but I find this is a little bit harder depending on how the YouTuber presents it, which is why I personally prefer reading. Having it in text makes it easier and more accurate to make sure I'm learning the right thing. You can do the same with Netflix shows or YouTube videos which have subtitles. For example, using a plugin like FluentU to use those subtitles to give you the translations live as you watch it. Remember, input should be engaging and meaningful, not just random lists of words. And words should become meaningful identifiers. so that we can recall them when we need them. Now, let's go back to our list. How do we give ourselves opportunities to recall, opportunities to practice speaking and writing? This is all about retrieving what you've learned. The brain strengthens memory by actively recalling words and structures, rather than just passively recognizing them. Every time you recall a word and use it in a structure, you are physically building neural pathways in your mind that will serve you the next time you want to recall that word. Quicker, better, easier. And that's part of your motivation for recall. The more you do it, the better you get. If you recall things properly, your neural pathways become more reliable to aid your recollection. This means speaking out loud, even just to yourself, even just narrating while you go around the house or about your day. And don't be afraid of perfectionism. If that's something that you think you do, or is a trap you can fall in sometimes, I just did a video on perfectionism and how you can completely erase that from your life. I'll put it in the cards up here or here. Very useful to not do perfectionism, I highly recommend it. Another method that combines the two sections is to use flashcards. I recommend the apps Anki, Memrise, Quizlet, or just paper flashcards. And I recommend this video here, which explains how to use flashcards really well. It's from a med student that they have to learn their information. This will really help. And the things that you learn from flashcards, incorporate this into your daily speaking, narrating, call a friend who speaks the language, go on apps like HelloTalk or italki or Preply or Tandem to find language partners to talk with in your native language. And if you don't want to speak to anyone, open your phone camera or your laptop camera, your MacBook, and just speak into it. Record yourself doing video diaries of what you did that day, what you ate that day, these things. Because output is super important. It's the goal. It's the process we are trying to get good at, so we can't avoid it. The brain needs to produce the language to strengthen its pathways, and even making mistakes is helpful. Speaking, even in broken sentences, helps form automatic responses over time. I want to talk a little bit more about context-based learning, situational understanding. Learn to love concepts over rote memorization. It retains that world of that word in color as opposed to a boring black and white. Check this out. Let me tell you, the word the apple in Italian is la mela. Now let me just carry on with my life. Blah, 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 blah. Let me try this now. The word for apple is la mela. Apple, la mela. Io mangio la mela. Now tell me, what's the word for apple? What do you eat? I eat the apple. Io mangio la mela. Mela. I don't know. This is a short example of how learning words in context can be more memorable than just trying to rote memorize it. Associating words with situations, images, emotions, or personal experiences can help the brain store and retrieve them more easily. But sometimes rote memorization is just needed. Sometimes you don't need to know anything apart from the fact that kage is store in Korean, and no, there doesn't need to be an emotion or story attached to it. Just kage, store, simple. Pattern recognition is another key thing that your brain needs to acquire a language. Natural pattern recognition is something your brain will make use of when acquiring a language. For example, phonetic training. Now you can put on a podcast of a beginner level, or put on songs or TV shows or films and start tuning your ear to the phonetic sounds of the language, to the rhythm and flow, the cadence of the language. These are all very important because you can have a great accent but terrible rhythm and sound like a foreigner, which is fine, but it is an element of speaking the language in an easier way to understand. Listening to native pronunciation helps the brain form new sound categories, and then outputting these helps your vocal organ create non-native, new vocal positions, vocal sounds, and all of these things needed. Emotion and engagement. The brain remembers way more when it's engaged, when it's entertained, when it is 100% focused in on the task. It can be emotionally engaging, or it can be connected to personal interests. Watching dramas or YouTube videos or films, listening to music, or talking about topics that you love in the target language can help increase engagement. As you can see, we're keeping it pretty simple. Mandarin Chinese is a big scary language that's apparently the hardest language in the world to learn, yet it's also the language spoken by the most speakers. Something doesn't quite add up there. And it may be a tough one, but I'd say we're tougher. I promise you, you only need focus and consistency to get you to where you want to go. Just take it step by step. Go easy on yourself. Remember not to burn out, and don't beat yourself up when things are going slowly, because that doesn't help anyone and it just makes it not fun. And if it's no fun, then what's the point? Because I remember the first time I tried to learn Mandarin, actually. It's a funny story. I was 14 years old and we had a Mandarin teacher come all the way from China to our school on an exchange program. I signed up for a lesson, and in the first lesson, in her class, she yelled at me so much that I started crying and I ran out of the classroom, and I never came back. And that was my first experience learning Mandarin Chinese. Would things have been different if I had stuck through it? Probably. Who knows? But did I wish that there was a way I could have learned Mandarin at home without someone yelling in my face? Yes. Yes, I did. And I came across a great tool, and it's so cool. I love it. Let me tell you about it. I've been using Fluent You. Let me explain. I've been trying to get back into learning Mandarin again, but I was just so stuck in that experience. It left me with the belief that Chinese was too hard for me, and if I tried, it would just be a bit humiliating again. Maybe I should just leave it. And so I stuck with other languages, like Korean or French. But with Fluent You, they make it so fun and so accessible to just pick up learning and acquiring new information. If you're like me and you like customizing a personal strategy to learning a language, Fluent You has a custom video library. It also works with any Netflix show or YouTube video that has subtitles. And then it lets you look up words you don't know instantly. Translations, examples, images. You can choose to learn with videos in their curated video library that they design for beginners and intermediate learners. You can just choose your favorite Netflix show or YouTube video. As long as it has subtitles, you can use Fluent You. And it's all created by their in-house team, so you don't even have to leave the screen of the show you're watching to learn a new language. And a feature I'm so glad someone finally gave us is interactive subtitles. Say you're watching a show with the subtitles on and you see a word you don't know. Do you pull out your dictionary, find the thing, or internet, Google the thing, what is this, is it this, what is that? But Fluent You, it's so easy, you just click any word. It pulls it up and it gives you detailed explanations and examples of what that word means and why it means that. And not just words, it covers a lot of useful angles like phrases and collocations, and these are so useful in your learning. I think I'm going to make a video on collocations because mind-blowing. Way better than vocabulary lists. You also know they're serious because they haven't got every single language under the sun. They've got 10 languages, which still took language experts over 100,000 hours to create. You can easily do accurate shadowing practice without having to use external translators, which is slow and demotivating and boring. And this is so cool to me because I love reviewing what I learn. I need it to acquire the language. I love it in theory because it is so tedious to make review lists by myself. I either get too excited about what I've just learned and then forget to review, but here I can just get Fluent You to review. Fluent You has a robust integrated study review method where you can use multiple choice questions to start with words and gradually build up to putting together sentences and output. You're also watching this at a pretty good time because if you sign up today, you get a free trial and you get 40% off. And then you get access to all of their languages, not even just one or two. All 10 of their languages, which is great because say you learn Chinese using Fluent You, and then you're like, hey, I want to learn Korean. You can learn Korean without having to pay for any of the resources again because it covers all the languages. And if you're learning multiple languages at the same time, perfect. I personally dislike when apps make you pay for a product for every single language because it's not like they're printing textbooks. It's like, I know it's an app. This gives you every single one. So it's pretty awesome, and right now even more awesome. If you click the link in the description, you get 40% off. You should, I don't know, I would try it. They give you a free trial, you can see if you like it, and I really think you will. Make sure to check out that link in the description and check out Fluent You. And thank you to Fluent You for sponsoring today's video. We've gone over building a solid foundation and the essential things that your brain needs to acquire a language. Now let me tell you the 3 top mistakes that most self-studying language learners make that delay their success for months or even years. Mistake number 1, we mentioned it earlier, and it's the fear of making mistakes. Learning is impossible if you don't make mistakes. Don't aim to make mistakes, but don't aim to avoid them too much either. That's called perfectionism. Again, I made a video on that here or here. Have a look if you think that that's something that could help you. I think it really will. jumping between resources without a plan and not personalizing your study plan. If you switch between apps and books and resources here and there, it scatters your learning process and it makes it very, very hard to track your progress. On top of that, if you don't have a clear schedule routine of a time and a day where you sit down and study, it can make it very hard to keep your discipline. The fix? Simple. Pick a day of the week, pick a time that you are going to study, maybe multiple days of the week, but keep it generally the same. Definitely the same time if you can. And do the studying from dedicated, decided resources. Get from the start to the finish, then do a new one, start to finish. What I've learned about language is you can't learn all of it at once. You can build it up like a map, and you can unlock different parts of the map. Slowly, and then you've got a lot of information that you can use. But it will be very hard to try and learn everything at once. Also, if all of your material is just mind-numbingly boring, then that's not going to work either. Try and diversify between something that you find boring but essential, and then something that's more fun and engaging, like a Netflix show or a YouTube video or analyzing a song. The next mistake people often make is trying to translate everything in their head. If you think in your native language to translate what you're trying to say, it slows you down heavily. Try and train your mind for simple words, phrases, and sentences to think in your target language, and it'll make your brain more comfortable with using that language as your thinking language, and you'll be able to translate bigger and bigger sentences by thinking in it much quicker. The next mistake is also important, a lack of consistency. One big study session during 1 week or once every 2 weeks is going to be nothing against the person who's consistently studying on their schedule. Like I said, pick a day of the week, pick a time, and stick to it. And even if you can only do it for 5 minutes or 2 minutes, that's going to make that habit stick in your head. I don't know if you read Atomic Habits, but this would recommend something of the sort as well. Really useful for learning anything, especially a language. The final mistake people make much too often is giving up too soon. Let me tell you something. Progress isn't going to feel like progress all the time. Many people quit because they feel that they're not fluent fast enough. But the brain takes time to absorb a new language and to build the neural pathways that help you recall and remember and use that language. Because here's a secret. If you wanted to learn a language for long enough, even a little bit, a year, 6 months, 2 months, years can go by and you'll still want to have learned that language, and you'll go like, oh man, I wish I learned it. I wish I kept going. Because if you keep going and you don't learn that much, you didn't really lose anything, because you were definitely learning how to learn. You were learning about yourself in the process. It's really useful, but usually you will have learned the language if you just stick to it. I know you can do it. Now, when it comes to your first full month learning Chinese, I want you to have a look at the guideline I put in the description of this video. Before I do send you to that link, I want to give you a few tips, and I'll write this down in the document too. Make sure that you customize this plan to you. This template will be for everyone who clicks, but something that you can customize to be very precise to you. Follow the instructions for the customization and you will do amazingly. And I'm going to give you a bonus right now for sticking around for the video. That is the recommended resources playbook. This is going to be a separate link below in the description, giving you a comprehensive playbook of the resources you can use to learn different skills and different topics within Chinese in your first month or even beyond, depending on your skill level. Have a look and let me know what you think, because I put a lot of time into this, so hope you like it. Now, I will be formally learning Chinese on this channel. Big announcement, I know. Subscribe to see how fast I progress. If you're learning Chinese, now you have a study partner and you also have an accountability partner. I'm going to be checking in on you. I'm going to be posting to see if you're still studying. And I promise I will progress faster than the average, because the average self-study learner will give up, will get stuck in their head, or be making the mistakes that you're not going to be making because you watched this video, and I'm not going to be making them either. I think I'm going to progress decently. I'm sure I'll have my up and downs, but let's have them together. Let's progress together and achieve this. We got this, we can do it. I will be the proof that this plan works, and so will you. So study alongside me, we'll be study partners, we can do this. And remember to check out FluentU. Check the link in the description, get 40% off, and learn with real world videos, and with 40% off. Just saying. And if you made it to the end of the video, comment something with the word coffee so I know to heart your comment. Let me know how you find the guide and how you found this video. If you have any feedback, let me know too, because I'd love to make these videos better for you guys. Stay happy and have fun learning Chinese. We got this. Bye.